Hey, what's up? It's Nickole Brewster, also known as Coco. Thank you for tapping into the Elevate Him podcast, where we have tons of topics on how to support our men.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nickole Brewster here, also known as Coco. Tonight I am riding solo, but that's okay because I just want to share with you on this episode just some things that we've been doing with Elevate Him, the moves we've been making, the people we've been serving, and just all the great things that have been happening for our 1 year. I cannot believe it's already been a year. It's been really crazy. It's been a great ride. Moments of stress, moments of victory. And it's interesting because a lot of times, you know, I have to pinch myself like, wow, this is really here. You know, I mentioned before in my very first podcast that definitely, you know, had thought about this such a long time ago. And it's almost like it just manifested itself and it's here, it's present, and we're doing the work. So I just wanted to tap in tonight and let you all know what's going on. So to start off, really quick, I want to kind of go back to the very beginning, just to kind of roll that through. Unfortunately, my brother committed suicide about 10 and a half years ago, which feels still so much like yesterday. I still have my moments. I still, you know, I'm sad. You never really have that closure. So with that, you know, I've been able to go to a group, and it's called SBS, and I was able to get some help through that and to be around people who have experienced a suicide death. And that opened up the door for me to help others while I'm healing as well. And I started to facilitate the first Washington County support group. And there'd be nights I'd have, you know, 2 people. There'd be nights that I'd have, you know, 12, 13 people. And you realize that suicide really affected a lot of people by losing somebody that way. So I still have my moments. I still definitely deal with it every day. I miss him. And being able to create a nonprofit to make sure that we support men better, we have a better understanding of what they need, regardless of their background or where they are, where their walk of life is. Been able to really get a hold of understanding that it's not, suicide is never about, okay, you know, I have a problem here and now I'm going to do that. You know, there's this time in between that there's so much that can be done. There's so much support that can be given. There's so many resources that we can pull together. There's so much suicide prevention. And I just wanted to kind of review some of the things that I've been able to work on and what I've been going through in the transition of building the nonprofit to help in that gray area. So I want to give a shout out first to God, because this would not be where it's at on any level. I know that this is not a faith-based nonprofit. I didn't want to do that. But if you are spiritual, if you are a believer, that's definitely needed, right? So for me, I am a believer, and I run off of Jesus and coffee. So when I'm, you know, talking about this, I'm free about that. But it would not be here if it wasn't for that. I stay very much in prayer. And all these little things that I've been going through, they're not little, I should say, but the differences that I'm making and the things that I'm doing have been because of that. So shout out to Goodwill. They started working with me fairly early in Elevate Him. I was actually going to Elevate when I was building the closet for Elevate Him. I was going in on Sundays and I was grabbing, you know, different items, attire to put together on the mannequins, but I was going shopping and doing it that way for the longest time. And I was like, this is a lot of work. So I actually contacted them and I said, can we partner together? This is what I need. You guys get the donations. Would you be willing to donate it to me so that I can donate it to men who are transitioning from careers, going to court, you know, building confidence, whatever the case may be? And they were like, absolutely, we love it. So the last, I would say, maybe nine months, they have been actively rocking with me. So I go pick up clothing from 3 different stores. And it's just been a real blessing to be able to go in and handpick this stuff out. It does take me a while, but we get it done. So that was really a big point for me because I was able to provide these clothes through them. I actually went in maybe a couple weeks ago to the corporate office, and I got to meet the team, like who's behind the scenes of Goodwill. I met the marketing team. I met some directors, the people that I've been working through, just emailing. They actually have faces. So it was really cool to see everybody working and how they loved Elevate Him and how they wanted to continue to sponsor and be a part of. So that was a really cool moment. And they want to do a story about it. So I'm in the middle of writing all that up, and we will see what happens with that when they distribute the story. So that is really cool. Another sponsor we have is Gliss Staffing Service. They are in different locations across the Multnomah and Washington County. They provide felony-friendly jobs. They've been working with me pretty much from day one. They've been able to have resources for men looking for work of different backgrounds. They have a very nice customer service staff. They work with all backgrounds. So it's really cool to have a community connection, believing in what we're doing, to partner, to provide a service as well. And I would say maybe a month and a half ago, they referred a gentleman to Elevate Him. He wanted a haircut, a suit, because he was actually going in for an interview. And super nice guy came in. We had him all set to go, and he naturally, I think what the guys do is they come in and they just naturally start talking about trials and tribulations and things that they've gone through, their background, their story. And his story was like awesome. Like, he came from some really hard places and he pulled out of that. He got his feet back on the ground, and he was resourcing for work and changing his life around and wanting to also volunteer in the community. So we got him a haircut, got him a suit, and he went out for that interview. So we're just kind of crossing our fingers that all went well with him. We will do a follow-up with him as well, because I like to see the journey, and I want to make sure that they feel confident where they are, and if they needed anything, they can always come back. So that was a really cool moment of seeing that transformation. That picture is also on our social media, so it shows the before and after of him. So really cool. Another sponsor we have was Unitas Credit Union. They came through, built a relationship within the community. They do a lot of stuff as well. Credit unions definitely are about the community, and so I reached out and continued to follow up. And long and behold, they were like, hey, we're going to give you the whole sponsorship, which they were going to divide between I think it was like 2 other businesses, but they gave me the whole donation. So it was really awesome to build these relationships, build these connections. And again, they're believing in it, and we'll see what happens, next time. So we're waiting for the next move with them. Human Bean Coffee. So if you're a coffee drinker like I am, I love my coffee. Human Bean, I got a chance to meet the owner of one of the locations in town. Super nice lady. Her staff was amazing. Super fun, outgoing girls. And I reached out, said, let's do an Elevate Him coffee day. So if you go back to my social media, you will see that they did, present a whole coffee day. The drive-through was from 5 to 5. And the proceeds went to Elevate Him. It was just a really cool moment. And they raised money for, Elevate Him and what we're doing. It was really cool because even the owner, when I met her to go get our pictures done and all that stuff, she was like, it was so cool because people wanted to know what it was. And we had the flyers, we had the informations. The girls were excited about talking about it. People were curious, and we shared that. So next year, we are doing 3 locations and running the same operation, 5 to 5. Proceeds go to Elevate Him. So super excited about upcoming events like that. Let's see. So I'm going to kind of gear into right now, like who we are working with. So again, this is a lot of layers, a lot of information. So I just appreciate you guys listening because this is, a lot of stuff, but we are making huge impacts. And to be able to work with other people in the community, again, it takes a tribe to really have an understanding of what's needed, what men are going through, how to support. I don't like the word help, but we are going to say how to support better in the community, regardless of what they got going on. The idea is to prevent, right? We don't want to see the guys falling through the cracks. We don't want to see them getting all these no's and expected to do all this stuff. So reaching out to the community has been one of my favorite things. Getting to meet like-minded people, getting to be around, people who are doing the same similar thing. They're working with all types of people, mental health, physical health, anything like that. So it takes a tribe, and it's just been really awesome. So first, I've been working and done a couple of videos with Know Me Now. They are here in Portland. Again, their background is basically helping DHS get with incarcerated parents and connecting the kids with their parent for visitation and really building a relationship, because as we know, when there's a missing parent, sometimes that can be very, crucial to the kids. In fact, we know that is the case. So they want to try to keep families together, even in a situation where they're not together. And building that for the kids, building that for the parents to feel like they are still, a part of their life is a huge, huge thing that we need. So I've been able to do some videos, work with their staff, and we share social medias and stuff like that. I'm really hoping to, come spring, the beginning of the year, we can collaborate on some more like event type stuff. So looking forward to more connections there. OSP, Oregon State Penitentiary. So I've been able to, get as much information in there to release counselors, to some of the men that are currently, working their way out. I actually just did a podcast maybe 3 weeks ago with one of the ladies there, Tanya. She does her own like little podcast, which has been awesome. So she likes to, have these conversations with the inmates, see their growth, their potential, get any outside information inside to them. And that was just a really cool way to bring Elevate inside. I would love to go in there at some point and have the conversation, but with COVID, we've had some restrictions on that. But this has been really an opportunity to share my story, to bring it to life. So they feel like, okay, as I'm getting out, there is going to be some hope. There's going to be some support. Again, we've had this conversation. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So it's really going to be about the guys that want to do the dirty work, because going through trauma, going through tribulations, growing up without being in, the penitentiary for however long, there's a lot there. There's a lot of having to unpack. And if they don't want the help, that's totally on them. But knowing that they do have the support moving forward and achieving goals and being a part of society and building relationships and feeling like they matter, even when they felt like they've done the worst. Building that relationship with people and really focusing on themselves to do better. So I'm really excited to be in the institution working my magic in there as well. There was actually a couple guys that I got, calls from. So I did a suit event just recently, and one of the guys had just got out of OSP. One just got out today, so congratulations to him. And then I have another one who's getting out next week, who they're all planning on coming in, getting suited, getting resources, and starting their new journey. So it's working. It's slow, but it's there. It's working. So I'm really excited to be helping the men that are getting out in the next couple of days and week. Also, OYA. They are the Oregon Youth Authority. And with them, I figured we have a lot of work to do when you look at our youth moving into, the man position in our society. And I actually got a list of the youth that have, criminal backgrounds. At what age did they go in? When are they expected to get released? And it was really sad to me because these kids were like 14, 15, and they're doing 20 years, 30 years. So think about that whole perspective, right? You got a 14-year-old who might have taken a plea bargain because he's scared shitless. He doesn't know the laws. He doesn't really have an adequate idea of even like the comprehension of what he's facing. And you get 20 to 30 years. So now you turn into like boys to men in prison. And you have to be in your surrounding. You have to be around these older men who have done other things, right? So now you have to be in that atmosphere. You're growing up in that atmosphere. So what happens when you get out? Now you're a man, right? So people view you, because we're so judgmental as a human race. We judge. So people think, oh, this man is 30. He's, doing this, he's doing that. They don't know anything unless he shares. So guess what? Now he gets out. He's a man. Because of his background, which he already did time for, now he has to pay the price being out in the community. Now he has to pay for no, you can't get housing. No, you can't get that car. No, you can't get that job. No, you can't see your kids if you had them prior going in. Or your family still don't want you. So there's a lot of no's. And they're starting over. So a couple things can happen. Realistically, they can fight through that and really make it and change their life and overcome all those things. You might have a situation where somebody goes back to it, right? They may get away with it for a while, stack some money, whatever the case is. They go back in. Now they're 30 doing 30 years, and now they're 60 when they might get out. So again, they're putting themselves back in the system, which the system is like, hey, come on, bring it back in. We need you. We need your money. So they're not going to care. So now you have a reoffender. Or you have somebody like in my brother's case, he did some time, he got out, he did the right things, he changed his life around, was being, faced with some difficult times in a situation, and it took his life. He gave up. Didn't want to do it no more. It was too hard. I'm tired of getting this and this and that, and it doesn't matter how good I do, but this is how I feel, and screw it, right? So I don't want anybody to feel that way. We want to do a lot of prevention action in that, and that's why this is extremely important to start helping the youth, to get mentors, to get men who have dealt with their issues and their traumas and have faced the truth of themselves, to help these kids who may not have fathers, may not have good role models, may not have the support, the family dynamic. We gotta kind of hone in on that, because these 14-year-olds are going to be doing 30 years. And then we're going to ask why they're not out here performing arts and performing magic tricks, because that's not what they're in there doing. They're trying to survive in there. So that was really important to me. So I got a probation officer that reached out just the other day and said, hey, I have a teen who is looking to get suited. So I'm excited for that. That's like a victory for me, because it's really showing that there's multiple layers, and we can really hone in, like I said, with these kids, and it's just going to impact one kid, and then he's going to go tell more kids, and then it's going to really spark them. And I'm really excited to be working with this youth. So that was just kind of a victory on that. DHS, I also have my flyers and information with them. We also got connected with 211 resources. So if anybody dials 211, literally, you can get, food, you can get housing, like you can get help with utilities. It's a real nationwide type of resource. And they go off of zip code, and they just get you connected with the actual people who are providing the service. So Elevate Him got the email last week that we are actually on that. It might take a couple weeks to actually be put on the website and stuff like that. There's a lot of literature that goes into that, but that's really cool. So if somebody was like, hey, I'm looking for professional clothing, or, I need some shoes, or I got a job interview, they can really, plug you in from 211. So that's exciting. I'm working with the Hillsborough Chamber of Commerce. So again, they're part of the community. They have other business-minded women and men. They show up. When I did my open house just a couple weeks ago, I had about, between 45, 50 people show up, and I didn't know any of them. And to see the community recognizing it as a new business, recognizing it as a need, they all showed up. We exchanged business cards. We networked. They heard my story, and they even bought merch, So again, we're really just kind of getting the ball moving with getting that support through the community, and that's a great way to establish that. Mind Solutions. One of the gentlemen, he operates Mind Solutions LLC here in Portland off of MLK. Super nice staff, super cool people, and I had a meeting with them. He actually showed up to my open house, which was really cool to see, how far this has gone, because I didn't have a connection with him prior. It was actually, hey, you should contact so-and-so, and then it turned into so-and-so, and that's how we develop, right, these relationships. So he showed up to my open house, and from there, it allowed me to meet up with him and his staff in his office. And the cool thing about that is, again, sharing the story, working with the youth. They are a counseling center. They're working with the youth. They're working with different people and backgrounds. So it worked. And they offered me a space in their building to create another clothing closet to, again, have access to more people in the Portland location area. So it was really cool to have, just that power between the two of us to really develop something with, the clothing closet being held in their actual building. So I appreciate them a lot. They have some upcoming event. I will be part of that. There's another lady that was at the open house, and she has an event coming up. I'll be a part of that. So a lot of moves in between showing up for other people. And I love that. So, when they show up for me, I'm showing up for them. We're showing up. And when we're showing up together, we're making bigger impacts together. So excited for those moves. I'm working also with Washington and Multnomah County probation and parole. So these cases are landing on their desks, and they need a place to really, move and groove these guys. I've had some great conversations, Zoom meetings, stuff like that. Things are definitely slow because of the pandemic, so I understand that I'm not going to be able to meet everybody all at once. This is a transition. It's happening the way it's supposed to happen, and in its proper timing to happen. So I'm learning patience, which is hard because there are days that are still. And in those moments that things are still, my mind runs because I'm so busy. Like I need to be busy. And when I'm not busy, it feels different. But I've learned in my still time to have gratitude, to stay humble, to stay motivated for whatever comes. So I have a lot of victories in my downtime. And, I was actually just saying earlier, it's going to be really hard for me to remember every victory because of how much has been going on. So I'm going to kind of go into a little bit of that here in a second. So another couple bullet points I want to speak out to. I'm on the board for the Oregon Suicide Prevention Men's Board. We just had a really awesome seminar. I was the only woman on there speaking on men's mental health and suicide prevention. We had a great slideshow. It was virtual, so I didn't get to see who was all there, but there was quite a few people that showed up for the virtual meeting. And it was just really impactful. It was really good information. Hopefully we can make, an impact by connecting with, counselors, doctors, coaches, teachers. All these types of people showed up. So getting the word out there, Elevate Him was in that, presentation. And it was just a great moment to say, we're here to support, we're here to make a change, and we just need you to listen real quick on what we're doing. So that was amazing. I'm on the Fathers Advisory Board. And, I haven't been able to do a whole lot with them. They were kind of already doing some things prior to DHS and the child support and, visitations and stuff. So they have a board that they work with men on different levels of providing the resources for men to get connected with their kids. As we know, we have a double standard in some situations, right? Women are going to be geared more to having the kids. Well, we're hoping to kind of break some of that down and say, well, if he's a fit father, he should be able to have rights too. So again, that's a kind of a different entity. It's a lot more political because you're working with the court systems and stuff like that. But it's really good information because you understand what guys go through when they're actually in those particular situations. So good information, and we'll see where that goes moving forward. I've done so much speaking. Clearly, I'm doing my own podcast, which has been awesome. We got some episodes going. I'm building more and more with these, people that I'm running into saying, hey, I got an idea, or I want to share, or I want to talk. So there's going to be more conversations, and I'm super excited about that. In the meantime, I have had, been a guest on somebody else's, which is great. We're getting the word out. I just did one with OSP. I did a couple for just, friends on social media, really just kind of sparking the conversation. I've done a few of my own Zoom meetings with different people coming in and talking. So again, we're here to talk about it. If you got anything for me, you can always hit me up. We can get you placed in. We can figure out. I got a couple people lined up coming soon. So we will have some good material, and I hope you guys tap in definitely for that too. Just did this morning a seminar with about, maybe 15, 16 women. It was a professional women's alliance through the chambers. That was awesome. These women showed up, they're business women, and they wanted to know, what is Elevate Him and how can I help? How can I support? So that meant a lot to me because being a woman, I understand. Man, I can't even press that enough. I understand that we have been hurt. If you have been in a relationship with a man at any point in your life, it might have gone sour at one point or something might have happened, right? So I understand there's a lot of hurt and sadness through, those relationships. And so I'm not disregarding any women's feelings. I would go to bat for anybody in certain situations. So definitely getting involved with, DV survivors, going on walks and doing the things for breast cancer, fundraising, stuff like that. I'm a part of that. I'll definitely stand for that. I just recognize that we do have a high rate in suicide, and that needs to be understood. We need to kind of take a little bit more initiative to clean that up a little bit, to give some hope there. So that's what I got to do today, which was really, really awesome to get the women to really hear what I had to say, and they loved it. So excited to see what happens out of that through those connections. Couple more of the victories. We did the ribbon cut. So we did an open house. It was probably about, everything blurs together anymore. So about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago now, we did the open house. We did a ribbon cut. They came through. We literally did the whole shebang. Had about 50 people there, spoke in front of them, and hosted breakfast. We had the merch out. We just launched the green shirt. So if you all see that, that's really dope. It's really nice. For Veterans Day, we will be adding the military American flag on the sleeve for Veterans Day, which is November 11th. So looking to be able to hand those out to veterans and really promoting it that way, because they are definitely high on that list. They're going through it, so we got to support them as well. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. I cannot tell you how surreal this is. It chokes me up because, when you write something down and then you lose the piece of paper, and it's almost like it came back up, it resurfaced, and now it's here, it's active, it's working. I have to really hold back some emotion because it's very touching for me to see how far I've come in such a little bit of time. Showing up to my friend's house with 2 mannequins in the back of the car. She thought I was batshit crazy. What are you doing with these naked mannequins, and I had to explain it, and it was all in my head, and I had to go back to the notes from years ago, and now to look at the social media, to look at the platforms, to look at the people, to look at the community, to look at the men that are coming in and transforming their lives, to just wearing a suit and how much of a difference that makes. Like, to understanding that this is saving someone's life by having a simple conversation with somebody who has dealt or have felt some type of way. And I don't know. I just feel like I can't even really get into all that because I'll choke up and cry. But I'm just saying I'm so blessed and so thankful for everybody who has really stepped up and celebrated this 1 year with us. So much going on with the suit events that we do. To the first check that I got, being my brother's, work. I just had a tree plaque made for him. It actually got posted at the Tillamook Forest Camp. That was really cool to see his name on a plaque. It's like he's not gone. Like I'm doing everything in my power to keep him alive and to keep many other men alive. We need you guys around. We need you to be good fathers. We need you to be good brothers, good husbands, good neighbors. I mean, I have a son. And so if any time in his life, as a man and getting married and stuff next year, if any time he needed that, he needed some help, he needed to pick me up, he needed a resource, he needed just, a suit for changing jobs, he needs that. And I want him to have something like that. If something were to ever happen to me and I wasn't actually running this, that there would be something available. It's very, very important to take care of each other. So that's kind of what I'm going to wrap up to. I did see this quote that really hit home for me. And it's just something that I just, want to resonate with a little bit. So if it doesn't speak love, it dies. You can take that however you want to, but the reality of it is if we don't speak love, it dies, and that means people. And if we don't love what we do, it goes away. If we don't love the people that are in our circle, we crush them. We don't inspire them. We don't uplift them. If people are hurting and we don't support them, they die. And I mean that in a literal form as well. Right. So, again, that's a wrap for me. I really appreciate you guys, tapping in. There's so much more to come. I'm super excited. Stay tuned. And I look forward to the next one. Peace.
Hey, what's up? It's Nickole Brewster, also known as Coco. Thank you for tapping into the Elevate Him podcast. Until next time.